Uh, this is the Ruger 22 pistol that I use in a lot of my concealed weapons classes. And the purpose of this video isn't necessarily to push a gun or anything, but it's to cover 4 basic safety rules. And I see a lot of people that shoot videos and they want to either check and make sure the gun's loaded or unloaded. And they're worried about that. That brings us to rule 1. We treat all firearms as if they're loaded all the time. Doesn't matter if we think they're unloaded, if they might be unloaded, if they might be loaded. We're going to treat them as if they're loaded. What a lot of people call an accidental discharge is really a negligent discharge. And most likely, when law enforcement gets on the scene, they're going to hear these words and it'll sound about like this. I didn't know it was loaded. Well, that brings us to the second rule. We never, at any time, point a firearm at something we do not want to kill or to destroy. Never, ever, ever. That is one of the few absolute concrete things in this world. If we treat them as if they're loaded, and we always keep them pointed in a safe direction, we shouldn't have any accidental discharges. But we bring them to rule 3. We keep our finger off the trigger until we're ready to fire. If you need a gun in an emergency, stress is already impacting you, whether you know it or not. You get your finger on that trigger before your sights get on target, and you're going to be like a lot of people I see that have shot themselves in the ass, literally, while they were trying to draw their weapon. So until we bring the gun up, get it clear of the holster, and on target, we don't put our finger on the trigger. The 4th rule is we do not, as we want to know our backstop and what's beyond it. Turkey hunters seem to get the worst rap for this, because usually early in the season, early morning, you have some idiot that's out turkey hunting, and he hears gobble, 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 and he starts framming at bushes without identifying his target and making sure that it's a gobbler, not a hen. He just decides he's going to start framming and shoot somebody that's sitting in those bushes trying to call a turkey to him. By the same token, when things go bump in the night, we don't want to get so panicky and so scared and out of control that we start blasting anything. We don't want to shoot pets. We don't want to shoot family members that don't need shooting. We want to identify our target. Those are your 4 safety rules. And I'm going to give this explanation like it was explained to me when I was a small child. My dad explained this to us coming up. And he explained to his son, he says, after you fire it, there's no calling that bullet back. And I'm sorry, it just ain't worth a damn. So there are your 4 safety rules. Now you've been informed. Now you can't say it's an accidental discharge. You have to go ahead and admit Yes, I was negligent in the handle of my firearm. I see too many times where people are careless and it ends up leading to tragedy. I am probably the biggest supporter of the Second Amendment and the right to keep and bear arms you will ever see. But I'm also going to say this. With that right comes a responsibility. And it's up to us to be responsible with our firearms. I have a lot of fun with these things. I teach a lot of people how to shoot. But I'm always following these safety rules. Whether if I'm in the woods, whether if I was carrying this as a duty weapon, whether if I was carrying it for my personal protection, if I was carrying for competition, we always follow our safety rules. That prevents tragedy. That prevents needless loss of life. Later on.